It is a plain fact that we're the ones who left the deal. Why shouldn't we be the one that make the first move to rejoin?
The Iran deal was arguably the most important thing Barack Obama accomplished as president. So, of course, Donald Trump tore it up, eventually almost bringing the two countries to the brink of war following the assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. But potentially, Joe Biden, you would think, as Obama's former VP, would want to get back into the Iran deal. But there really hasn't been a whole lot of talk about it since he's become president. Here comes, though, Ilhan Omar. So she actually questioned Biden's Secretary of State, Tony Blinkin, on Biden's refusal to take the first step to get back into the Iran deal. Check out what she said here.
It seems like there's a kind of a stalemate with Iran negotiations, as both sides have been waiting for the other side to make the first move. It is a plain fact that we're the ones who left the deal. Why shouldn't we be the one that make the first move to rejoin?
Thank you. A couple of things on that. First, as you noted, we've been very clear that the path to diplomacy is open, and we're fully prepared to engage on it. And the president said repeatedly that if Iran comes back into compliance, we will too, and then we will try to work on the other issues that divide us, including lengthening and strengthening the agreement and dealing with these other issues that we just discussed.
I'm sorry, Mr. If we are not re-entering the deal, how do we expect them to be in compliance? Shouldn't that happen first before we ask them to be in compliance?
You just can't re-enter the deal by flipping a switch. We pulled out of the deal 3 years ago. The Iranians have unfortunately moved further and further away from their own compliance, and so there are and there would be challenging issues to work through that require actually talking about it that are necessary. That's why when the European Union invited all of the parties, or in our case, former parties to the deal, to start having that conversation, we immediately said yes. The Iranians have said no, and really the ball is in their court to see if they're interested in pursuing diplomacy. We are.
All right. First here, good on Ilhan Omar for bringing up this issue. It has not gotten a lot of attention so far, and it's something that would be it's a no-brainer for the U.S. to take the first steps by dropping all sanctions and getting back into the Iran deal. Tony Blinken's logic here is completely out of whack. Yeah, maybe the Iranians don't want to go to the table and talk to you until you drop the sanctions. Why would they? You tore up the deal. To have Americans tear up the deal and then expect the Iranians to take the first step to get back into the deal when it was you that got rid of it, you abolished it. First of all, it breaks trust, because even if you get back in, they need to know it's not gonna be ripped up again. They need to know it's actually gonna be permanent this time. So it's on Americans, it's on the U.S. government to take the first steps to initiate getting back into the deal. And I mean, CNBC headline here: Iran rejects informal nuke talks with U.S. and EU, insists Biden drop sanctions first. Like this is an obvious step. I don't understand why there's any debate at all over this. Again, if you make a deal with anybody and they screw up, is it then on you to go back to them and beg to be back into the deal? No, it's on the person that screwed up to come back to you if they actually want to get back in the deal. I don't know how this is even an argument. CNN here, a little more background on this. Donald Trump famously yanked the U.S. out of the 2015 nuclear deal despite the fact that Iran was abiding by its terms and European allies fiercely opposed the move. He ordered the killing of a top Iranian general and sustained a maximum pressure campaign of unparalleled financial sanctions against Iran. Soon after his election loss to Biden, Trump reportedly asked advisors for options to strike Iran militarily. That Trump's presidency concluded without open U.S.-Iran conflict may be lucky for everyone. Biden has stated an intent to rejoin the nuclear deal, while also signaling he hopes a more expansive agreement can be reached soon after. Let me just stop there. There should be no talk of expanding the agreement until they're back in the original agreement, because already, I think this initially already scares off Iranians from getting back in. Just get back in the initial deal. And if anything, it would be on the Americans to sweeten the deal to get Iran back in, because again, they're the ones that screwed up. The idea that Iran should face I don't know whether it's further sanctions or further restrictions, when again the U.S. screwed up here, it's just completely insane. If he is serious about a diplomatic course correction on Iran that contains its nuclear activities, his administration needs to move fast in doing so. Yeah, this should be one of obviously we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but this should be a major priority right now for Joe Biden, as time is of the essence in a situation like this. So just get back in the initial deal. Hopefully we hear more about this. I'm glad Ilhan Omar spoke about it, but we need to hear more pressure from Democrats in the House and in the Senate on pushing Joe Biden to get back into the Iran deal.